What's up, guys? This is Brett from Rants. Oh man, I just got done doing my Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, episode 1 and 2 review, and I noticed this article here. Amazon confirms new review system preventing users from leaving feedback on The Rings of Power until 72 hours after its premiere. Claims waiting period introduced to stop review bombing from trolls. All right, I want to get to that because as of today, it was at 39%. It was at 39%. I don't think it's that bad. I really, truly don't, and I'm not taking up for this show. Please believe I am not taking up for this show in any way. I do actually believe, judging by a lot of the comments that I did read on there, that it is kind of getting review bombed to a certain extent. Not saying that is the reason why it's got a 39% score. I do believe that there is a lot of people out there that are probably not watching it and just not liking what it is and probably writing, stuff on it. I do actually believe that. I'm not denying that Amazon, I think Amazon to a certain extent maybe is right in this one regard when they're like review bombing from trolls. I still don't think that it's going to prevent that. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with something like Lord of the Rings, you're dealing with generations worth of fans. You're dealing with hardcore fans. You're dealing with fans that are just, that live and breathe this world, that have read those books cover from cover, have watched the movies a million times over. And look, when you've got somebody like Peter Jackson, who was so respectful to the content, even though he did change some things. But overall, he wanted to tell Tolkien's story, not his own. He said that primarily a million times. This show, to a certain extent, does deserve to be review bombed. Simply because every single one of the actors, actresses, showrunners, everybody never said those words. They don't want to tell Tolkien's story. They specifically picked this point so that they could tell their own story. And put all this identity politics bullcrap into this story. That was their intention from the get-go. That is what they have shoved down our throats the last couple months, is telling the fans this. So if they get all the vile hatred from fans, that is on them. That is on them because they have shown no respect to the content that they're trying to make. They have shown no respect to the fans, and they definitely have showed no respect to Tolkien. They have showed no respect to Tolkien whatsoever. Someone who has watched episode 1 and 2, I can say they have showed no respect to Tolkien at all. I feel so. You know what? As much as I will say this. I do believe that there is a little bit of review bombing going on because of the same things that people kept saying over and over again. It felt like things that people not actually that watched the show. It was just people that was talking about things that had been told about the show. That's what it felt like in a lot of different ways. But, I could be mistaking that for just fans that can't get past the point of this doesn't feel like Tolkien. And they're upset about that. And that's the reason why in my review, I didn't say anything when it come to necessarily the changes that are made from any of the histories that Tolkien left to the characters that are on screen, because there's a lot of new characters as well on here that just aren't even in any of the source material. But I made sure not to say anything about that simply because I'm judging this show by just what I see on screen, not what I read in the books. Totally get it. If I was a super fan of Lord of the Rings, I would be pissed too. Truly would be pissed if they changed something that I love so dear, change characters that I love so much. But I'm not one of those fans simply because I'm just not a super fan of Lord of the Rings. But I still understand where they're coming from. Unfortunately, I do wish that people's criticism would be less about what they changed and more on how bad the show technically actually is. Because I think in a lot of ways you get somewheres more by doing that. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because anytime that there's criticism about the changes that are made in Token, the very first thing that they start screaming is racism, sexism, blah, blah, blah. You don't like it because, they've added a lot of genders and probably sexualities and probably, of course, a lot of things to this show. I feel like, no, I don't like where I'm going with